patient with me. I may not be able to see you in the chat, but I want you to continue to chat. Grand Rising, who is here this morning? Let's see if I can figure this out. Who is here this morning? And maybe I can go over. I'm so glad to be here. I decided not to do too many things at one time. For an instance, I decided not to be on YouTube and TikTok at the same time because it's just not easy for me. So I'm going to go over here, and I apologize. I keep apologizing, but I just want you to know this is a learning curve, and I'm here to see you, and I'm glad you are here to hear what Spirit has to say. So I'm going to keep going. That way I won't get caught up by my chats and caught up by by the chats and everything in it. So welcome everyone. My name is Renee McCoy and welcome to Sunday Brunch. Sunday Brunch is designed to receive the divine messages for the week so that we can have a clear focus for what Spirit has for us, the universal life force energy. We call it God, the universe, the highest force, whatever you call it is up to you. With that regard, we are always looking, because things are always happening around us that we can and cannot see or can and cannot interpret. It's always difficult sometimes to just get in the flow. And so to have a divine message using these oracle cards as instruments that are dedicated for the collective, for the ascending soul, and for all of us that are here. And so we have what we call a virtual Sunday brunch. And again, that's the intent. You can't be here all at once, but I want you to use your imagination. And the imagination is intended, Grand Rising Rose, and the Grand Rising, and your imagination is important because it's also what is necessary to be used as we communicate with the Most High. But in your imagination, I want you to see a grand ballroom, right? With this huge, you always have that one table for the dignitaries or for the bride and groom or for those being honored. You are at that table. It is the longest table, and it gets longer as people come in to have a seat. And when you come in to have a seat, you agree to be fed with sumptuous divine fare. I want you to imagine the room as being very winter-like, because we're going to use the decor of the season with all of the crystals and all of the icicles and the beautiful snow, the colors of blue and silver and this glistening. And on the table, there's a huge runner with all the beautiful flowers of the seasons, all the smells of the seasons. Each table, each plate has a beautiful charger of gold underneath. You can say gold and silver, wherever you sit, depends on. But the charger is intended so that as the message comes through and that you put food on your plate, it not immobilizes, it amplifies that meal for you for the entire week. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you use your comments, because we want to make sure that everybody knows that we are here for our virtual Sunday brunch. Now, the food all depends on what you desire, right? Physical, mental, spiritual, emotional. But the food that will be served will be created by our divine chef, the Most High, right? The omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent chef that knows what we all need. And no matter whether you're vegetarian, carnivore, whether you don't like meat, you don't like fish, whatever your desire is, it will be here today. Now, I happen to be a participant in this process because I am the queen or the empress of the house, or I am the maitre d'. I don't create your meals, but I do present the meals as it is presented from the Most High to you. And each and every one of you all will be able to participate not only for now as the message opens up, but throughout the week you will be given, as you leave today, a to-go box, a divine to-go box for your divine meal. And because this meal, you know how it feels when you walk away from your dining experience, but you can't eat it all. You're so full and oh my God, but you want to take the rest with you. This is what the virtual Sunday brunches are designed to do, for you to take away with you a measure of this meal throughout the week. And as you open your to-go box, the intent is that you will be refreshed with that same meal, but maybe in a different way. Leftovers are all good. They're so good. And these leftovers are divine. So this means that every single time that you open your box, it is as fresh as it is now. But because you've got this charge that your food is on, it amplifies that. So that is what I want you to be mindful of this morning. I'd like to see you in the comments. We do have a few people here, and I'm not able to see your comments. I can see Rose's comments. Hey Rose, how you doing? I'm so glad that you are here. And I'm not going to try to do too much, and so maybe that's the best thing so I can keep going, all right? Now, our virtual Sunday brunches are from 11 to 12:30, and oftentimes we go over, because the meal is so good, but I'm trying to get it the format in a way so that you'll be able to get what you need and receive the message up front. Then we can have conversation, and or if you are looking to receive a reading today, they're only 22.22. All right. So our last week focus was all about shifting, right? And so whenever you see this message, it will be timely for you. All the messages come at a specific time, and there is a divinity in the timing of it all. But whenever you see this, if it's not here in a live session, it's the perfect time for you. And so last week we were talking about shifting. The week before we were talking about habits, right? And so as we begin to put this information together, the intent is for you to be the first partaker of what the message is bringing forth. Okay, and as the message brings something forth, it you are being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And then as you are transformed and as you go out into the world or interact with any other person, place, things, situations, that you will be able to, what we say, each one teach one, or that you would have that level of authentic um, presence, right? And that's what healing is all about. And so this week, or this past week, the 9th through the 15th, we were talking about that energetic shift. But we also were reminded that the shift is not only for us, whatever happens above happens below. So there's a shift in the cosmos. There's a shift in nature. There's a shift in our paradigms and our experiences in our country, in our world, and in us. And so as these energies are brought forth in the beginning of the week and mined throughout the week, it is not only happening in you, you will literally begin to see shiftings in nature, shiftings in our world, shiftings in our paradigm, shiftings in the cosmos and the ethers. This past week we had the full moon in Leo with all kinds of planetary interactions. And if it happens there, it happens here. So grand rising to you. And that was what we were doing last week. If you have any comments, or can't see any of your comments there, please know that I'm here. So let's get started. All right. This week, now I have a pre-shuffle that I'm going to put up as a um, so that you can see how I've been led to the tools that I use, right? We'll also put up these instruments, and when I thought about it, I always look at the cards that I'm called to, or the instruments, or the crystals, and I ask questions about that. And this week, it's all about our total body. It's about our ancestors and our angels speaking. We're not just on a basic level anymore. There's a lot of things that are changing that are really causing us to not only shift and acknowledge, but to this week's energy from the 16th through the 22nd is purify and purge. Purify and purge. And why is that important? First of all, it felt, you know how a puppy does when they, or a dog does when they are not really understanding what's going on? Well, that's how I felt. I felt like, hold on, why is pure? It felt funny. And then the more, sometimes when I go to find graphics to help explain, to help give a pictorial to my videos, I begin to notice that there's something called purge and purify. And this, that eerie feeling that I got initially, I got when I saw that there's an actual, I guess, a movie or something. But Spirit said, that's not what I'm calling. I'm not calling for something to be purged because as of the purge, it purifies. No, we're talking about purifying first and then relieving. So I want you to be mindful of as an ascending soul, that this message is about purifying. And purifying is cleansing. It's refining. It's releasing. Cleansing, refining, releasing things that do not serve you. People, places, things. Now, it's along the same lines of that shifting. And again, this is important because when you purify something, you get rid of those parts of it that causes it not to be effective. For an example, when gold is put into fire, it burns away what is not necessary, so you have a purified or an authentic. So what does that mean? That means purify on every level. Your mind, body, and soul. Don't forget your environment. Don't forget the people, places, and things in your life, because your soul is going through an evolution. And it involves clearing your mind, your body, and your spirit. This is the journey that your soul is leading you down. So physically, that might look like a detox. Mm-hmm. No, that's not what I'm saying. Let's come back a little bit. Let's go to purge. Why is purging? Because once something is clean, if you leave the particles of the dents of the unclean leftovers around, right, it becomes easier to pick back up. It becomes easier to identify or come back into your life or meld back into the situation. So it's not enough to find out what needs to go, but once you find out what it is and understand the importance of it, it is also imperative that you get rid of it. That's what a purge is. It's an active removal, the expelling, the letting go of. So they're almost alike, but they're fine differences. The purification identifies what no longer serves. And it has to go through that process. The purging is the actual removing, the cutting of the cords, the releasing of it from your life, the dispelling, the intent of not holding on to it any longer. Ooh, this feels good. Now, when I was getting the message, it wasn't feeling so good because it was hitting home. Because this message is for all of us, because there's only one of us, but we have different perspectives and we are reflecting each other. So this week, as you begin to purify and purge, you will be reflecting or things, persons, places, and things, belief systems, all of these things will be reflecting upon you through people, places, and things. And that's not always easy because as we're healing, because that's what this is, healing requires us, first of all, to see that there's something that that no longer serves us. All right? So we're going to purify all of the toxic energy in our lives. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking down at my notes because, of course, I have to read my notes. This stuff was coming. It was just coming. It says, toxic, and you're going to purify, it's going to involve you purifying negative or toxic energies. That's people, places, or things, thoughts, whatever. Your limiting beliefs. Those things that prevent you, whether you're aware of it or not, from moving forward. Your emotional baggage. Because what purification does is brings up evolution. It illuminates, right? And so, and all of those external things, they're going to look different. You're going to feel different. And that emotional baggage is going to make you feel like maybe something's wrong. Maybe you should have, would have, could have done something different. All of these things. But you have to understand that you're purifying. And usually when you purify something, all that is not a part of that purification process rises to the top. Your emotional baggage is going to rise to the top, right? The way you see things is going to rise to the top. And you're going to probably be experiencing things that you have not been in the position to accept or to see in the past. Now, once that skim, this was something that you ever boiled chicken, right? Or boil something and you can skim whatever it is off the top. You see that? Whatever rises up to the top is part of what no longer serves whatever you're working on. Now, that doesn't make it bad, right, wrong, good. We're not looking at judgment. We're looking at the fact that something is being presented for your observation. And that's what purification does. Now, once that purification process starts and that emotion, all of these things start to come up, what would it look like in your body? It might be asking you to detox so that it can bring up all the unclean things, all the things that no longer serve your body. And because you've asked for the purification process, it simply means that it's going to first come up as a thought, maybe, that I should maybe stop doing this or drink more water, or go walk out, work out, or use these herbs, or use this, or whatever comes up for you. That's the first part of it. And the actual purging is the actual doing, the actual taking the medicine, the actual walking, the actual whatever, refraining from eating certain things, right? Because purging is the actual removal. It's the action. It's the letting go. So be mindful that these things will be happening. The question is, Rose asks, what is the difference between fear-based thoughts and spirit guidance? Just what it said, fear, it doesn't exist. Fear is those things that are coming up, those dense energies, those shadows that are coming up that are trying to get you to stay in the same way. Spirit guidance, you have to know the difference, and that's based on your relationship. You can't know the difference if you don't have a relationship. Because sometimes when we're being led spiritually, because we don't know the outcomes, it often helps us to be fearful. So there are two different things. You're going to be led through spirit and might not always know the outcome. But on the other hand, in fear is based in something that you have experienced in the past that's coming up to say, but what if? Okay? I hope that makes sense. So this is part of that purge, the knowing the difference between. The difference between, is this something that's coming up for me that I have experienced in the past, right? Or, and what is it asking me to do? Now that it is here, what is it saying to me? And if I'm uncomfortable with it, it doesn't mean that it's fear-based. It simply means that I am not sure what to do, which I am asking you to press forward with your relationship with spirit. As this purging and this cleansing happens, it's important to be grounded. And these instruments are going to talk about that, and I hope it further explains. It also is going to, this purge is going to ask you about your, it's going to bring up those emotional attachments, those old wounds. That's where your fear is based in. Fear is based in old wounds, because if you use the acronym FEAR, false evidence appearing real, right? At one point, this may have happened, but as a result of that one experience, you have created a thought pattern or a habit around it. And so every time that wound comes up, there's that fear that comes with it. Yes. Yes. So emotionally, this purge and this purification may bring up past wounds and asking for you to cut cords. Past wounds, emotional baggage, cutting cords, letting go. So I'm going to purify. I'm going to show it to you so that you can decide that you want to cleanse and refine it, or whatever spirit is saying to you. On the next level is now cut away, because whatever I'm showing you for purification no longer serves you. So the action is, what do I do next? So on all these levels, if it's physical, there's some things that will come to you. And you're trusting the process, not questioning it as far as, I don't know if this is right, blah, blah. But indulge and go into meditation, or just ask. And what does that mean? The next thing you'll know, you'll have examples of commercials or music or things around you that help you understand or to further clarify. And again, the same thing with the past wounds. See, when things are inside of you and festering inside of your being and inside of your body, first of all, it's festering in your being because you are a spirit having a human experience, and your chakras are all controlling your physical body. Heart chakra controls the heart, the lungs, right? Throat controls the thyroid, the eyes, ears, nose, throat, right? All of these are strategically and divinely placed. And so when they're not working, or when those energy wheels that are placed in specific places in your body to help manage your spirit man, the last level of your auric field is your physical body. And the physical body is where the tails begin to show. If there's dis-ease or discomfort, or your chakras are not correctly operating correctly, and they're stopped, or they're operating in the wrong direction, or what have you, you find dis-ease in your energetic system, which causes dis-ease on your physical man. So now if you're holding unforgiveness in your chakras, your heart chakra, right? It's going to manifest itself in your physical and in your mental and in your emotional. You're going to hold on to unforgiveness, but for physically, you might have heart attacks. You might have lung disease, right? Because the body is telling you that your body is not in sync. So now it's time to purify and purge. And that is why Reiki and sound healing and all of these healings that I do are important, because it goes beyond the physical, because we are a spirit having a human experience. So this week, you're going to experience that on your physical level, the emotions on your physical level, detoxing the body and decluttering your space. That's another physical thing. We have to, and I wrote that down, decluttering our external, or a cluttered external, no matter what it is and where it is, as long as you're in charge of it, is an indication of what's going on in the internal, right? So when we look at these frequencies, on one end it may look like, oh my God, that's terrible. But the other end of that same frequency is how you change it. Is this making sense? I need you to tap the screen. I need you to send some love. I need you to share. Grand Rising, Maisha. Grand Rising. I'm so grateful that you're here. And there are some other people here. Please make yourself known in the chat. You're sitting on the outside looking in. Don't get choked up with the spiritual food, because, hey, you've been sitting here for a reason. So grateful that you're here. Thank you so much, because that helps the algorithms, right? That helps the message to get out, okay? And so we're going to finish with what we're doing here, and I'm going to answer these questions. So hold on, because I don't want to get off key. I want to get our message out so that then we'll come back, because I see your AB, I see your question. How do you change the frequency? Just do it. Like, if you don't want to listen at 105.3 and you want to listen at 95.3, then you change it. You change your mindset. And you stop thinking about this and go do something else, right? Good question, though. So let us keep going on with this. Now, mental purging is going to be having to rewrite those negative thoughts, that dense energy, those fear-based shadows. Because anything that keeps coming up and you feel less than happy, less than light, then that's a dense energy. And that dense energy is asking for you, presenting it to you to say what you want to do with this, right? And it feels uncomfortable, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, because we have not been willing to see or able to see, but because you are healing. Because last week we were going through the shift, and we were looking at habits before that, and collaborative relationships before that, and consistency before that, and minding our business and changing our minds. This is an evolution. There's something happening in you. And to pay attention to the pain and the uncertainty of it all only pulls you into dense energy even more. So mentally, we're having to rewrite some of our belief systems, some of our old programming, some of these negative, dense energies. Right? These thought patterns come up automatically because we don't even know that they exist. We don't know that that's what's driving our programming. And so as they come up, you might be surprised. It might take you back, but it's important to be grounded spiritually. Because spiritually, what this purging and this purifying and this purging is doing is also showing you these karmic relationships and behaviors that are continually coming up into your timeline and bringing you into lower vibration. Because then you start looking at it and paying attention to it and doing it. And when you can only change your frequency if you stop doing that and put your mind into something else. And we are trained to try to figure out, well, why is this happening? When is this happening? Why is this doing this to me? And it really isn't doing it to us. It is revealing to us what is necessary to let go, what? To cleanse, to refine, to release. And then after we release it, we want to cut those cords. We want to be able to acknowledge it if it decides to try to come back, because it's a habit. It's part of your constitution that you knew of or you didn't know of. And so when it comes back, you have to be able to put it in its place and put your mind on these tools that Spirit is having for us this week. Because it's not just going to go away because you decided, I'm going to purify and cleanse this. Whatever you cut your energy off from, it wants to meander back to get some more of that. You got to know that. Okay? And so we want to go really quickly into why this force is essential, or why this focus is essential, right? We talked about energetic lightness and your alignment. When you are getting into alignment, right, whatever's happening around you is almost null and void. Yes, releasing even what you don't want to. That's where the resistance comes. The question comes, that the statement from Aisha says, releasing even if you don't want to. You're releasing if you don't want to, but if you don't want to, you won't. You have to come to the state of surrender. Because then you can't put the responsibility on anyone else. These are the things that I have been holding on to. And I think this is what she's saying. Those things that I really don't want to let go of. I've been holding on to them is what Spirit is saying. Yes, I understand that you've been holding on to it. And this is what makes it so difficult to release. Because when you need a crutch, that means you don't feel like you can stand on your own without it. So Spirit says, I'm going to show it to you so that you can decide whether you want this authentic part of you to be evident. And if you do, then what will you be willing to do? Right? Because then it's no one else's responsibility as to why things are happening. We are taking responsibility for things that we have created unknowingly or consciously and unconsciously. But that's what healing does. Healing brings it up, not only for it to be determined whether you still want to be bothered with it, but if it's bringing it up and you haven't noticed it, then it's bearing action. What now should be done with it? And of course, if you bring up my chocolate habit, and I love chocolate, what if that's your thing? And it's like, ain't nothing wrong with chocolate, Spirit. We're not doing that. That ain't nothing but the devil right there. Because I ain't messing with nobody. I'm eating the best chocolate I can. The Spirit says, but when certain things happen, you always go to the chocolate. Are you leaning on something? Because at that time, you don't... See, why are you messing with me, Spirit? Why are you doing that? Do you understand what I'm saying? So they can be mundane things or they can be big things. But the point is that you are in position so that you can receive and see what needs to go or what needs to be refined. Because sometimes it's not always that what it needs to be purified needs to go all the way. Sometimes purification means, you know, when you go get your feet done and they just take off the dead skin, take off the surface, it refines, right? Because something has been created as a result of a pattern of your gait, of your step. Exactly. We really don't want to let go. That's what resistance is. And that's where the fear comes. That's where all of the low, dense energies come in to say, But that's when us as the spirit man has to be able to say to thou shadow, listen, we are going to get up and do A, B, and C. We're not going to eat this. We're not going to go there. I'm not going to say this. And then you begin to use your tools, those things, those affirmations. In this case, this is going to be your toolbox for the week, your to-go box. All right. And so we want to, it's important because there's an energetic lightness and alignment that comes with this purging and this cleansing. There's also a breaking of generational karmic cycles. Because what you're doing, nobody in your generation or nobody in your lineage after you, when you complete it, will ever have this problem again. And don't get caught up in whatever it is, because whatever it is in you is breaking the same generational or karmic cycle in your lineage. So when you allow yourself to purge from those former ways of doing things, whether it's an ancestral lineage, whether it's something you learned this lifetime or any other lifetime, you're cutting off the ability for any part of your lineage to experience that going forward. Does that make sense? And we're also breaking these societal cycles, right? These things that society say we have to do. You have to live in this kind of house. You have to work these many hours. You have to marry this kind of person. You can't eat this kind of food. You can only go this place at a certain time. And Spirit says, no, 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 no. You are a spirit having a human experience. And because we are attached, we are omni. So don't allow yourself to be put in a box. And so what this purifying and what this purging of your energy is going to do is going to help you to expand beyond what you've been told. And it's also going to enhance, number 3, your spiritual discernment. You're going to be catching on to things quicker because you can't, if you have a whole lot of spiritual potty pot. I ain't got, you know how ghetto I am. If it's a lot of doo-doo in your world, if it's a lot of stink, and you trying to put good stuff in there, something got to go first. Because if every time you walk around yourself, you feel like, what? And you still trying to put something, that you can't have both. Everything has a season. So you have to cleanse out before you can bring in. You got to clean your room before you can see you got a floor. You need to take some herbs to get some of that stuff out because them vitamins sitting in there just festering. Because again, we're not drinking water, you're not doing, you see what I'm saying? You can't, that's what healing is. And many of us don't want to go through that process. But that's the beauty of manifestations. You can't receive until you give. That's one of the laws. What am I giving? I'm giving all that no longer serves to me back to its source so that I can receive, right? So should we start with spirit or surface cleansing? It's up to you. That's between you and spirit. What's going on in your life? You have to figure that out with spirit. That's your relationship. You can't rely on someone else to tell you. That's what happens when you are in relationship. The nature of the things that will be showing up for you will indicate to you what spirit is trying to do for you. You can't have a relationship with a significant other and not know anything about them. How they communicate, how they speak, what bothers them, and the same thing about you. So the relationship, AB, is about, that's what the relationship will reveal. That's what the being still and seeing the things around you are showing you. It is telling you to pull in so that I can show you what it is we're talking about. So first of all, get off the hamster wheel, like we all are. We're always doing things, it's just trying to figure it out. The Spirit says, no, I want you to be still and know. It's opposite to what societal norms have taught you. So the first thing that's going to happen with many of you with this purification and with this purging is that your 5 senses is going to be you're going to learn about your five senses, that everything you see ain't real. Everything you touch ain't real. Smell, taste, or hear. But whatever you will be learned with what they taught us to be the sixth sense is actually your first sense. And the first sense is learning to be discerning. That's what the purging is, the getting rid of all of these things so that you can be led and guided into all truths. And your sixth sense is going to lead you because it's connected through your alignment to the Most High. Now, all that your five senses, which you can hear, taste, touch, smell, and see, are going to be subject to your alignment. And when that happens, your discernment, your spiritual groundedness, everything starts to make sense. And you realize more and more that you have to do less physically, mentally, emotionally. You can let go of that and just get into alignment with what you are being led and guided to do. Wait a minute, Maisha. That's period, right? It's a journey. It's not a trip. See, a trip says, "What you want me to do? How long we gonna be there? What we got? Okay, I can pack me. Okay, and we coming back when? Okay, I can get ready. See, if you knew the beginning and the end of what was going to happen and all the excursions that are going to happen along the way, then it's an easy trip. Because you know you're coming back, you know what you're gonna do while you're there, you know what kind of clothes. It's easy. You don't have to trust yourself because you've received information about this specific duration of time. On a journey, baby, that's a whole different ball game. You don't know how long you're gonna be there. You don't know what kind of clothes to pack. You don't know where you're going. You don't know how. All you're gonna be led is daily what to do. And initially, pack light. Because along the way, we're going to change some things. And that's what shifting has done. And that's what this purging or this purification is going to do. It even refines you more to a specific place where you have peace beyond your understanding. Where things work out for you when it looks like you had no hope. And you keep walking forward because that's how you're being led and doing A, B, and C, taking off what doesn't serve you so you can be lighter. Do you understand? Do you get the concept? And so now that this purification and this purging is also going to, like I said, enhance your spirituality, your intuition. Because you don't have a lot of that old stuff taking up space. Just like when you clean up, when you get rid of things, when you start to organize. There's some things that you're going to find that's underneath something else because you had to move that in order to get to the next step. And that's what purification does. Purification first brings it up to say it needs to be checked on. And what we need to do with purging says we're going to cut, clip, because it's come to our attention that this no longer serves us. At any time there is maybe a sore or a cut or a wound, right? In order for it to heal, I don't care if it's a paper cut, which is the worst ones, because you didn't even see that coming. You don't even know where that came from. All you know that every time you touch it, you feel like scratching your eyes out, crying and screaming. So it doesn't matter how big or small. It's just that there's a wound there. And when there's a wound that's being revealed, something has to be done in order to bring it back to its authenticity. Now, if you have good health, you can just wipe it off with maybe some astringent, and your body does, because your body's in good health, it automatically starts to bring things back together. But when you are not in the best of health, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, all of those, then there are processes that must be done in order to heal the wound. Bitch, let me tell you something. You said that. Wait a minute. A wound As long as it's unattended, well, you every time something, whatever it is, comes past that wound, you're gonna jump, you're gonna react. Every time somebody says that certain thing, does that certain thing, something happens, something that you hear, that wound that has not been attended, it's going to flare. And first of all, remember, you don't know that it's a wound. You may not be aware that that is that dense energy that keeps coming up to ask you to let it go. And instead, you project that fear and those words and your reactions to the person, place, or thing. Oh my God. This is what we do. This is how we learn. And so you can't think that because you are uncomfortable that something's wrong. You are unnerving something that has always been. You've purged, you cleansed, you've cut away. And now you can literally see, because all of that necrotic tissue, all of that dead tissue, all of that stuff that has been creating all of these reactions in your life, you're now taking it out and getting rid of it. And just the mere carving and taking it out and looking at it, that in itself is uncomfortable. They hurt when you skate, right? Because that's a way of you knowing that it's not completely healed. Because when a scab, when you're completely healed, the scab will fall off. You don't have to do anything. Because you're nourishing your body, because your body knows how to respond, because blah, blah, whatever spirit has told you to do, you don't have to do the removing. You have to be in the position where you're saying surrender to I say yes. I let it go. Spirit's like, okay, gone. Don't pick it up no more. Are you listening to me? So we don't have to do a lot of work. The scab is an indication that it is in the process of healing. And many times, and I've done it so many times, going over there and picking at it. Is you really, come on now, I don't think. And now you get it off, and then all of a sudden there's that little piece of skin that's still stuck. And we go ahead and pick it out, my God, because it wasn't completely well. Spirit said, don't you worry about the evidence of things. I need for you to keep walking through these valleys and the shadows, and then in the presence of your enemies, the scab gonna fall off. And it's going to reveal the beauty of what healing can do. Ooh, child. So that's why it's important for us to go through the process. It doesn't always feel good initially. But first we have to remember that we've done it before. And this is not our first rodeo. It's not our first rodeo. Yes. So since I know I can do it, and I may not know what this is, but I know that I have the fortitude, and you begin to speak life into yourself. You begin to understand, God, that's all I had to do. Absolutely. Because you know how it is when you've been contemplating something all the time, and you make more of it than it really is. And by the time you've done it, you realize that wasn't even as bad as that. Because that fear, false evidence appearing real, prevents us. It's a limiting belief. It prevents us from going forward. And not only going forward, if we try to go forward, we won't be doing it authentically because we are fearful. We're scared. But the more you do it, the more you realize, remember the last time you did this and you got scared and it wasn't as bad as you thought? This is the same thing. Thank you, Spirit, for bringing. And you start speaking to the ways that it can work out and why it is you are in alignment. And speaking to that instead of giving the fear balls. You got to cut them balls off. I know I said it. See, because the next one is when you purge and manifest, when you purify and purge, you also create. You also make room for manifestation. And your soul begins to open up and things become easier in that you realize this is part of the process. And it's not going to happen without this detox. of your spirit, of your body, of your mind, of your emotions, of whatever part of that is being revealed to you. You can't get a manifestation without detoxing all of the dense energy first. All right, so does that make sense? So we talked about purging. The energy for February 16th through the 22nd is purify and purge. And I told the story of how it kind of felt eerie, and then I went to look, and I kept seeing this movie called Purge and Purify. These are two different things. Because in that, this morning, I even heard something different. When you purge something, you just get rid of it without even seeing its value. And as a result of that purge, you believe that you've gotten rid of everything, and now that this purification, now that everything is pure. We're not talking about that. It don't work that way in the spirit realm. We're going to purify, then get rid of it. Because when we purify, you have to first be aware that there's something there that doesn't, one thing is not like the other. You have to be aware that there's something that you want to cleanse, something that needs refining, something that needs to be released. When you purge, you actively begin to let go, to cut, to remove, to eradicate from your life. And we also said it might be for you physical, in your surroundings, some things you might have to get rid of, some people you might have to get rid of. It might be a detoxing of your body, of what you eat. It might be how you do exercising, how you take care of yourself. It may be emotional. It might be that emotional baggage or those healing of the past wounds in your sacral chakra. I don't know what it would be. I'm giving you examples of how it can show up. It can show up in your mental capacity, where you have to rewrite some of these old paradigms and old belief systems that you've had, some old thought processes. You might have to stop in the middle and cut things off and ever say, when I get to this, I will not. You have to do that. This is your relationship. This is your journey. And it also is going to show up spiritually, where it's going to ask you to release these karmic cycles, these things that keep happening over and over again, and stop them, recognize them, decide what you're going to do with them. And as a result, why is it so essential? Because it makes room for your light and your alignment. It breaks those generational curses or generational cycles or those karmic cycles, because now you're aware that that's what has been going on. That's your programming. It's going to enhance your spiritual growth. You're going to be able to manifest too. But none of this can happen without you having this spiritual, mental, emotional, whatever detox. Ooh, and it's happening all the time, but there's a lot going on, y'all. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not trying to make light of anything, because the same thing that you're doing in your body, that's what's happening in the world. Because this energy is coming from above, remember, so above, so below, it's falling on the just, those that understand or are in this awakening process. As well, it falls on as well the unjust, those who are not aware, who choose to keep going in the same paradigms, the same ways, and paying attention to the same dense energies. So for those who are not paying attention, they're going to have reactions too. They're not going to know that what's happening to them. They're going to see it as like how you feel when something try to yank something out of your hands. You're going to say, what you trying to do? You're going to fight for it, because you don't understand. If you understand that that's something Spirit told you to relinquish, and with the first tug you let it go, then you're in alignment. But if the person who doesn't understand continues to fight, and then there's just a physical something there, there's an abrupt eruption over here. There may be fighting over there. There might be that tug of war with power and authority. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I don't know if you do, because I can't see you tapping that screen. I need for you to wake up. I can't see you. I need for you to respond, because it's just not happening to you. That's why I need you to understand the importance of your place now. Why it's important for you now to release, because as these energies and as these planetary changes and as this new earth comes, it's going to change your DNA. And if your DNA can't help it, you're going to be flat down. So let's talk about it. Yeah, don't slight me on my likes and my love and my shares. We need to let people know this is what it is. Okay? Thank you so much. All right. So now let's go to the oracle part, the oracle messages. And this is what I have a pre-shuffle for you about. I haven't put it up yet, but I do have it already. This is how, she said loud and crystal clear. Thank you. Thank you for sharing as well. So now the oracle messages are how, when I go into meditation, there's a certain thing that happened. I receive whatever the keywords are going to be. And I'm like, what? Doesn't make sense to me, right? But it begins to open up. And then it directs me. I ask for specific tools to use. What are the tools, the instruments to use to better open up this message to the collective? And this message is not just for us, it is for the collective. But we just happen to get it first. You're going to see this message in other ways, and other readers and other things in the world. You'll begin to see it, because if you're discerning, you'll notice it. You may not understand why, but your attention will be brought to it. And so these specific tools help us to open it up. And so the pre-shuffle will be, so you can see what that's about. I'll have some pictures of these cards that we'll be using, so you can revisit them on YouTube. And throughout the week, my intention is on both platforms, both YouTube and TikTok, to always let the messages for that week be around whatever the focus is. And again, the focus for this week is Purify and Purge. All right, so let's get started with our messages. All right, so we've been talking about the fact that purifying and purging requires our action. And one of the things we said, that it's important to know that when we purify and purge, it's going to change our energetic being, right? The first card that came out was the Inner Temple. It says devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. Because again, when we talk about the chakras, the heart chakra is the midway point between the upper chakras and the lower chakras. The upper chakras are where we're receiving information from our spirit man, or to help grow our spirit man, or to enhance. But if the heart is like, it's like what the what is it? The liver is to the body. It cleanses out, right? And so that what's down the bottom, our solar plexus chakra, our sacral chakra, and our root chakra, are those chakras that we are cleansing, clearing, and clarifying. That's where all the density is. Those are our lower chakras. It is also where, lower not meaning less than valuable. Lower simply meaning location. And in your lower chakras is where we hold our dense energies. So Spirit says, I need for you to understand your heart portal is being worked upon right now, because if you're holding on in unforgiveness, if you're holding on into any limiting beliefs, whatever is being brought to you will not be able to get down to where it needs to, because the heart chakra is where you cleanse it out so it can be received. So we're not talking about just doing no surface work. We're saying we are seriously now being transformed, and not just on the surface, but on a DNA level. When I tell you what's happening in the ethers, your physical body and your spirit man have to be in position to accept it. It's just not going to come into a vessel that is not ready to receive it. It's like having too many amps. Your electrical amp or whatever it is. If you have too many wattage or too much wattage, it'll blow out. So it has your body and your mind has and your being is being prepared to accept what is coming down. Now I saw this let's see, where is it? This particular person or image is a combination of the Madonna, black or the Black Madonna, um, I think Oshun. And matter of fact, let me look it up because it's an activation card, and it's asking us to do something. Let me look at it really good. Look at her hands. Look what she's holding. Look at the implications of the Egyptian times. This says old childhood patterns are, I had never seen this. Old childhood patterns are rising up to be healed. So this is Saturn and the Black Madonna and the African goddess Oshun entrance or influence. Saturn represents destruction and transformation. The Black Madonna represents the underground and all that has been cast aside. And Oshun represents the tender love of the original mother. I typically don't look at the books because I just received, but I did and I saw that. So there's a lot going on. We're talking about transformation on so many levels. So your heart, that emotional baggage might come up about unforgiveness or having to let go of someone that you have found it hard to let go of. But Spirit is saying it's a transformation that's necessary. And there's a lot going on, and it's just not letting go of a person. It's letting go of something so that your authentic self, the purification process and the purging process is revealing who you truly, 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 truly are. Yes. She says, yes, I feel my heart is truly cleansing. Absolutely. And it can feel, if we're not aware, it can feel like emotional. And it is emotional, right? Because that's a heart. But we may not be interpreting it as a purging and a cleansing process, a shifting, right? We might be looking out of our old mindset and thinking, what did I do wrong? Rather than understanding that you have made a choice to release. And in your quiet time with you and your higher self, you receive this information. Throughout the day, maybe there are words or affirmations or songs or out of the mouth of babes, a phrase, something happens, right? To let us know. Now, if just like you said, Maisha, if this is happening to everybody's heart chakra and it's falling on the just as well as the unjust, and we explained what that meant, then the people who are feeling it might be going through some emotional, mental changes, mental health issues, psychological whatevers. Do you understand what I'm saying? People in power may try to take advantage of those who are not. Maybe pulling at their heartstrings. Well, you should do this. Family members, loved ones. All of these things are going to be happening because everybody doesn't understand what the nature of this healing is about. I like that. Oh, sorry. All right, so are we together with that? So Spirit wants us to be mindful that that when you're going through, first for yourself, this purification process and this purging process, it's not a trip, it's a journey. So don't be looking at the end of the rainbow because it's not right now. This is what we do. We're going around figuring it out, and we're being led and protected. But in the midst, there's a lot of changes that are happening inside of you. And I need you to be in alignment so that you can kind of understand and feel it. You might not understand it and be able to see it, but you may be able to feel it. Or you may be able to hear it, and you may not be able to interpret it. Your clairs are being refined. And so that means that you're going to start to feel this entire world. You might start feeling your feelings. You might understand that you're holding space, right? Because now that you're opening up, you're learning how to manage your energy flow. So you're going to as you ascend, you're going to start feeling deeply about a lot of things. And if you're not grounded, you're really, now check out her picture. Look at all of how she's looking at that picture. This is going to help. This is going to help you to have to set clearer boundaries. Maisha says it feels like just waves of emotions, especially adrenaline. Absolutely, that could be it. That's a good way of sending it. And when that starts to happen, it will take you off your square if you are not grounded, if you have not done your work, if you are not allowing this transformation, if you don't know that when this happened, it's time for you to go sit or lay down, or it's time to drink water, or whatever this is your journey. Because as this information and as things amp up, you might have a feeling of fear and confusion rather than safety and protection. And it's going to feel a little off. It's going to put you off, of course, because it's something new. It's changing DNA. It's changing your thoughts. It's changing your physicality. It's going through the gambit. And the other one says, because it's opening up for you what? Endless possibilities. Eyes haven't seen and ears haven't heard. So the first thing I need for you to know that this is doing something for the positive for you as an ascending soul. And that is the reason why the purifying of your environment, of your house, of your mind, of your spirit, of your emotions, of every part of you is taking place. And that's not to say that it's all happening at one time, but it's taking place. And for you, you have to know which of these categories or how many of these categories are coming down or being exposed or healed is the word. And so it's being done. Now, this is the thing. I like the numbers. The number on this one is this is not the one, but the 13. And around the number, it tells you which chakra is being affected. And that's your sacral chakra, where it may bring up some trauma, some old feelings. It also may bring up your passions, right? Your sensuality, how to do things. And so it's going to really bring a lot out. But I want you to know that, what is that number? That is 38, and the 38 is purple around it. And that's about your intuition, your third eye. So as these things are coming up for you, how will you create? How will you use this energy not to be fearful and not to say, woe is me, and not to wah, 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 calling on the ambulance all the time, but to utilize this energy that you have been transformed to do. Your body, mind, and spirit has been healed so that you can utilize this energy and not fear it. You can be more discerning and less fearful. You can know, even though you don't know the outcome, that you're protected in all things. Tell me what you think, because I'm loving this. You are opening yourself, or spirit is allowing you, or not spirit is allowing you, as a matter of alignment, you are opening up and connecting with this omniscience, this omnipresence, this omnipotence. There is no loss there. But it's like rising to a level of excellence. Right now where you are, you may not be at the level where your body can accept all of these things and accept all of these energies. But you're getting, spirits, as you're getting to that, the more you take away and lay aside these weights and all of these things and all of this stuff, you begin to feel and know and see and hear and understand on a different level. And what you can do with it, let me tell you something. Now, What does that require? That requires us to not only be in a continual relationship, not just waking up with the now lay me or going to bed with the now lay me down, sleep, lay alone, so keep I that forward. Not just those old habits. This is creating. If your body and your mind is new, then your habits become new. Your way of living becomes new, and it's not like you know it. It's going to be revealed to you. So in order for that to happen, you got to have some confidence. And the ancestors and the is this the ancestors? No, this is the mystic shaman cards are saying to you, I need you to perform like a jaguar. And a jaguar is at the top of the food chain in the Amazon forest. Don't not everything's scared of the jag. It moves stealth. It don't do a lot of talking. It's powerful. But what it also asks you to do is look beyond your illusions so that you can let go. I have to read this one too, because this is a whole book. And again, I don't read these often. But I have had these cards since July 18, 2019. See it there? Yeah. And these are the numbers that I want you to watch. Oh my God, this thing. Sorry, y'all. Forgive me for a minute. The Jag is the number 28. And I open to it every time. This time I open at 27, but that's okay. Right? Let's see what it says. The Jaguar is the protector of all life in the Amazon, and in times of fear, she brings courage and uncertainty. Courage and uncertainty. The hell? She brings courage and an uncertainty. She said, not the ambulance. Yes. The Jag is at the top of her food chain and never becomes prey. Prey. Never, there's nothing that overcomes it. And it don't look like the biggest thing that can be there. But she's at the top of her food chain. The Jag this card calls for you to explore beyond the walls that confine you. This calls for you to purify or look at those things that no longer serve you and decide what you're going to do with it. And not to have fear of it. Even though you don't know, remember we talked about we walk through the valleys and the shadows. We don't always know what's going to come out. But because I'm in charge, it can't nothing take me down. If I have that mindset, I keep walking with purpose. And whatever is shown to me out of my shadows, willing to pay attention. And so stop being scared. As these things happen, they are happening to empower, to uplift, to enhance who you truly are. And that the fear that comes into that is sometimes us playing small so long that we don't know what it feels like to be in charge. We've been playing a role so long that for us to step out of this role with our transformed selves and to see the endless possibilities, because we're feeling something. Come on now, come on, you hear me? Tap that screen and talk to me quick. So the Jag says, listen, you have to walk with authority. And as you do, there are going to be things that come up that you're going to have to willingly and fearlessly face. It ain't going to eat you up because I'm not going to let it. That's not because you're not prey. You're only prey, Prey, if you let down your guard, if you don't use your tools, if you don't have a relationship. Because Psalms, was it 61 or 91? One of them says that that the angels have been discharged so that, and they hold you up so you can't dash your foot against a stone. You might feel like you're in a turbulent time, But I want you to know, if you don't feel like it, if you know that you will never pray, then walk through with confidence. Why is that, baby? Because this stuff is coming for a reason. It's coming to purge your mind. Then look at this. Look at the picture of the shaman. Maisha says, you are so talking to me right now with this energy that I have been sitting in. Yes, ma'am, this is church, Rose says. Yes, it is. And this is what we are preparing for. And that's why I always, I offer the outlines and some of the little, the affirmations and actionable actions that you can take only for $5, little outlines. Because you might forget with this week, you doing one thing, but you can also use the energy from the previous weeks, because it's just all of this is happening. We're still shifting. We're still purging. We're still purifying. But remember, the same energy is out there in the world, unharnessed, and being utilized against people so that they can create distractions to pull you off your game. But look at this picture. I like here where the shaman is here, but there's something that is being projected or something else. The shaman wants you to reach that be in the sacred process where you're not scared. You understand what's going on. You can't fall prey. And this number is a 28, which is a 10, new beginnings. And this number is a 38 and 11, divine presence. This is a divine process. There's no way in the world you can lose. If you think you can, then you can. But there are going to be circumstances that the energy is changing. You are transforming. You're going into your heart space. And these are things that have already been happening to you. As one of the persons said in the chat, I've been in my heart all this time. What are those relationships? What are that emotional baggage that's coming up for you, because it's coming from the heart? All right, so I hope you're finding this, you're putting together this to-go box, because let me tell you, we're going to do some readings, and the readings are only 22, but they're also 11 for those who are subscribers over on TikTok. So after we're almost done with that. Getting time done good. All right. So the last few cards, our heart spirit wants us to really move forward, right? With this purification and this purging, with understanding what the advantages are and using all of these instruments to further develop that. The Spirit says now it's time for you to really trust yourself. These are the angel and ancestors that want you to talk, want you to know this. Trust in your in the unknown, because that's the big void, right? The unknown is where all the unlimited possibilities come, is what is being revealed to you. And if you look at these both cards, both of these ladies are looking into the earth, the possibilities. And so you don't know what that's going to be. It's unknown. And that's why the Jaguar comes and said, even through uncertainty, you're not prey. You're the plug. So I need for you to trust all that is coming before you. And if it has, and as you purge, trust that you're being divinely guided. You got to trust that. You have to know that. Anything that has been oppressed and being suppressed is now rising to the top and asking. And so it's going to let you know. And I talked earlier about our ancestors, and but this card came up, and it says, the elder, moving beyond our ancestral patterns. And that's important because we are being called beyond. Some of our ancestral patterns, they can only take us certain places. They only evolve to certain things, but you breaking these generational cycles and these karmic cycles are going beyond where your ancestors have. Now, that doesn't mean that they are not guiding you and protecting you, but you're going beyond. You're doing generational work, and it's because of them that you have the ability to move forward in this. So don't play. I like this one. You the she-wolf, baby. You're going to reclaim your authentic power, your ancestral power, all that is being put out there. Because remember, you're transforming. Remember, you're not afraid. You're feeling things and you're seeing the possibilities. And now that you see it and understand who you truly are, you don't have to be scared or afraid because you're getting intuition from beyond what you can know. And trusting it. And these three cards alone are saying not only trust yourself, don't limit yourself to what you have been told. Move beyond it and do it in authenticity. See, when this card shows up, it shows that you have purged those beliefs. You're purging those beliefs of lack, of scarcity, of fear, right? Your primal intuitive power is popping through, right? And so sometimes this is powerful. All the time it's powerful, but sometimes it can be overwhelming, right? So as we are going through this week, February 16th through the 22nd, with the energy of purifying and purging, we're going to walk through knowing that there are going to be all kinds of changes that may come up. But because we're staying in alignment and we're being grounded, we're being fed with the information that we need, even though it's uncertain. We know that we're protected. We know that we are not prey. And we know that all things are being revealed. It's important. It's important. It's important. So this is the message for this week. The message of purifying and purging. Not purging and purifying has nothing to do with that foolishness. And I looked it up. Oh my God, it kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies. But what I do want to give you before we go is an affirmation for the week. And I want to try to change it all week or at least use this affirmation. And remember, this year, we're talking about that when we get to the point of decision, we always state to ourselves that I love myself enough to, and depending on what you're doing at that time, you fill in the blank. So this is the I love myself enough to affirmation that we can use just for today. I love myself enough to release beliefs that keep me small. I trust in my inner wisdom to guide me into a higher state of being. I love myself enough to release beliefs that keep me small. And I trust my inner wisdom. We're opening up that heart space. I trust my inner wisdom to guide me into higher states of being. That is your message for February 16th, February 16th through the 22nd. I wrote some other notes at the top of my page. So purging is not just, is about making space for the new. Remember, we're not just talking about spirituality is just not in your head. Spirituality is how you clean your house. It's how you clean your nails. It's how you take care of yourself. It's how you pray. It's how you meditate. It's all of it. It's a holistic approach. So it's about making space for new. That's what purifying is. It says, wow, what did I say? Move or change a thing. Oh, if you move, I love this. Consider a rock pile, right? A pile of rocks. and you see a beautiful rock, maybe midway down, and you want to take that rock out. Think about what that decision will do to the entire pile of rocks. Hey T, how you doing? Greetings, family. Greetings. If you go into that rock, that pile of rocks, and you take out one rock, it disrupts the rest. It's an automatic thing. It's going to happen. Because that rock must have been significant to hold space for all the rest. But that's what purifying and purging will do. Is when you take that one rock out and you start doing what you need to do for you and paying attention to how you were called to that thing. You cannot be concerned about the residual effects of all the other rocks falling, because that's going to pull you back to, oh my Lord. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. It's going to pull you back into those old dense energies. You are not responsible for the rest of the rocks. They're responsible for themselves. And that's what this is going to feel like this week. It's going to feel like emotional upheaval. It might feel like physical, I got to do what? It might just, you're going to literally have to shift, or being shift by the Black Mom, Madonna, Saturn, and Mama Oshun. But it don't look like she's struggling. Look at that. So when you shift, or when you cleanse, and when you're doing all this work, everything around you that is so used to you being in a normal state is going to have a problem. Which is not your problem. This is what you pulled out. This is what Spirit said. This is what Spirit says we're going to purify. This is what you've been giving your energy to a whole pile, holding it up when it had nothing to do with that. You're claiming and reclaiming your stuff. And that's why the affirmation is so important. The affirmation again says, I love me enough to release beliefs that keep me. So that means when I must have been the plug, because when I pulled out, everything else fell down. What? You didn't even realize how powerful you are. You thought that if you stopped doing certain things just because other people didn't like it, they blah, blah, blah. Spirit says, listen, you're a Jaguar. I need you to have this spirit. This is over. This is a new beginning for you. That 2 + 8, this is the beginning. And I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. So stop thinking small. You're at the top of the chain. And when you walk through just like that, baby, so you stop feeling small. Stop trying to appease everybody. Yeah, I didn't mean that. I just wanted to. I said what I said. I love you, bye. See, they're not used to that. That's why the rocks fall down. Because you were the thing that were holding everything together. Now that you pulled yourself out, now that you called your energy back, now that you put a still door between, that would no longer serve you. You've purified. You are purging. You are understanding your importance. You're going to walk into some uncertainty. But baby, you protected like a mug. What? All right. That is the message for today. If you would like to get a reading, just let me know. They are 11:11. If you are a I want to talk to you this morning, Spirit. If you are a subscriber over on TikTok, and all of that's going away, they are really changing that system over around on TikTok as far as the subscription. So if your subscription is letting go and you have not been able to, or if it's expiring and you have not been able to renew it, I think it's all because they want you to download a new platform, blah, blah, all that stuff. So I am honoring my subscribers from TikTok So your readings are 11:11. But if you are here and you're not a subscriber on TikTok, it's 22:22. All right. Thank you, Spirit, for every soul that's coming. I want you to say this with me. I love me enough to release beliefs that keep me small. I love me enough to release beliefs that keep me small. And you might not even know what they are right now. But this week in your to-go box, don't allow distractions, right? Because if all this energy is changing, if spirit is working on people's hearts and they're not aware, if transformation is happening and people are resistant, if there's a lot of feeling going on and people don't know what it is, and things keep opening up and other people are interpreting the wrong information, you can understand there's some people gonna come popping out. There are going to be some people who take advantage of you and everyone else. They're going to try to send you in a direction that is not clear, and it's going to have people in such destruction that they're not going to trust what the Spirit is saying to them. They're going to fall back into old patterns, and they're going to play themselves small. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Do not play small. I love me enough to release beliefs that keep me small. Large doesn't mean that you're going to be so much that you can't handle it. Large means authentic. Large means you're walking in your light. Everything that you need, you already have. And you have the capacity and the skill to make it happen. Come on, gosh. All right, that is our ending of our Sunday brunch today. I am so grateful that you are here. I hope that you have heard something that will continue to open up for you. You have a to-go box today, and I certainly hope that as you open your to-go box on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, all the way up to this coming up Saturday, that the information will begin to enhance, enlighten, feel, bring peace and power and authenticity, and that you will never feel prey knowing that you have this primordial presence, and that you are learning what that feels like. Even in uncertain times, you can't take away the fact that you are you're the one, and that is what it is. Okay? Thank you all for being here, and don't forget to mirror you. Be balanced, be inspired, and continue to grow. Have a great day.